Last month, Omar Mateen opened fire at Pulse nightclub, killing 49 people and injuring 53. Weeks later, we're still piecing together the motive. Many are asking, was the gunman a jihadi extremist or a repressed gay man? James Bradley says America doesn't understand his motive. Bradley is a best-selling author, and he joins us now. James, you say in your article called Omar's Motive that he announced his motive just hours before he died, but U.S. officials and our compliant media won't report the truth. What is the truth?
Well, the truth is that he was sitting in a bloody bathroom with bodies over the toilets, and there was a young woman from Philadelphia by the name of Patience Carter who had bullets in her leg. She's sitting right next to him. He's got his gun, and he calls 911, and he tells 911 the purpose of his rampage. This video goes on the internet, and for days people could see it, but the press wouldn't report it. Instead, we report these theories of jihadism, and we put his motive into the ISIS narrative, and we get more afraid, but we're not told the truth of what he said on that phone.
So are you saying that he never said he pledged allegiance to ISIS on that phone call?
Later, he pledged allegiance to ISIS. He pledged allegiance to factions that are actually fighting each other. He was a young man, obviously confused, but the main motive we're still not talking about. We don't want to talk about in the United States.
Okay, so he did say that he pledged allegiance to ISIS, though. But you're just saying that
yes,
the media spun it.
After he did say he pledged allegiance to ISIS after he announced his initial motive.
Okay. So you seem fairly confident that you know Omar Mateen's motive, yet also point out he made a lot of conflicting statements, like identifying with Muslim factions who oppose each other. With that being said, how would anybody really know the true motive?
Well, he said it. Patience Carter was in that bathroom. She said everybody in that bathroom knew his motive. He called 911 and he said, I'm not going to stop killing people until the United States stops bombing Afghanistan. This is the same thing that the Boston bomber said when he was hiding out in a boat in Boston. He scrawled on the side of the boat, if you keep bombing the Middle East, we will keep attacking you in the United States. It's the same thing that the guy who drove the bomb into go off said. A judge said you were going to kill innocent American people, American civilians. And he said, yes, Your Honor. It's because America is killing civilians in my country. So there's a pattern here. All these people are complaining about U.S. bombing of their countries, but we're not talking about it.
So I can see the comparisons for sure, but he's made so many conflicting statements. How do you know that that's the true motive when he's had so many different things?
I'm not saying that that I divined it and I looked at it and I decided. What I'm saying is that the people who thought they were going to die in the bathroom heard him call 911. And the first thing he said, the real motive I have here is that I want the United States to stop bombing. Look at what she said. Look at my article. Look at the quotes. She said, everybody in that bathroom who survived knew what his motive was, and it was to have the United States stop bombing Afghanistan.
Do you think it's possible that Omar Mateen was a repressed gay man that felt rejected and used ISIS and radical jihadism to sort of cover up his real motive?
Well, there we are in the euphemisms. I'm just saying that a woman who thought she was going to lose her life said, I heard his motive. I understood it. It was that he wanted the United States to stop bombing.
You mentioned you went to Afghanistan in 1975 hitchhiking, and you roamed around the country. And back then, nobody was concerned about radical Islam. What do you think's changed since 1975?
Tons of American bombs in the Middle East. Andrew Basovich just wrote a great book called America's War in the Middle East, and he shows that we've been at war ever since Jimmy Carter with the Carter Doctrine, where we all of a sudden said that we have to militarily be concerned about the oil lines to the United States. Look I was born in 1954. We weren't bombing Muslims. We didn't have any Muslim terrorism in the United States. I walked across Afghanistan, Iran. I lived in Iran. No problem. What's the difference between now and then? The difference is tons of American bombs. All I'm saying is I know how to make Australian terrorists in the United States. We have no Australian terrorists in the United States, but I know how to create them. Let's start bombing Australia.
So where do we go from here?
Well, I think we have to widen the aperture. All I'm suggesting is that we're focusing on the effects. We're looking at terrorist incidents in the United States very closely, but we're not looking at what billions of people think is terrorism in their country. Drone attacks, homes blowing up, mothers and uncles dead. A lot of the world is seeing that on their screens. We're not seeing that on our screens in America, so we're not understanding what Omar, the Boston guys, the Times Square guys, a lot of people are saying is, we don't like bombing in my country. I went all over Vietnam and Laos, and a guy said in the 1960s we were trying to get these peasants in this valley to realize they had to oppose America in the war. Said, what war? There's nothing here. What's America? We don't even know what America is. One U.S. warplane came overhead, dropped a bomb on a home, and he said the whole place was razed. Look what happened in 9/11. World Trade Center, we got bombed. We got excited. People patriotically enlisted. We call that patriotism. Well, other people feel the same way about bombing, and they'll respond to us.
Yeah, lots of different things, so many conflicting stories and narratives there, only adding a layer of confusion to that, and so many questions we may never know the answers to. James Bradley, thanks so much for coming on with us tonight.